This is the one-step equation sheet that you got in class today. Fifth period actually had to copy this down, so you have this numbered the same problems, they're just not printed out. Every other class had it printed out. You're just doing the evens on the side that you're seeing now. So the first problem you're doing is 16 equals k over 11. This is the same for both groups, and that is because we didn't get as far as I wanted to today, so I am moving the video I had for the flip group to tomorrow instead. So you're going to take those notes tomorrow, which gives you a little extra time to practice this skill. This would work for both groups then, and then tomorrow we'll sort of divide up and have two different sets of homework. So let's go ahead and look at this. Remember, the first thing you should do to every problem is copy it. Now, on these you don't have to copy them because they're already copied. But if you worked them on a separate sheet, you would need to copy the problem over, not just the work that you're doing. Then remember, we always show the inverse. Now for this one, the inverse is the opposite of whatever's with the k, so it's divided by 11. The opposite of division is multiplication. Remember, multiplication and division are inverses. And then addition, subtraction are inverses, or opposites. So we're going to multiply both sides by this 11. Just like that. Now, we know that this cancels because 11 divided by 11 makes just 1k, which is what we wanted, 1k. And then 16 times 11 is 176. And as you're doing this, hopefully you tried these on your own before you watch the video. That's really what I wanted you to do. And it may be a good idea to pause it, try a few, and then watch to see if you're doing it right. What I'm doing now is flipping and putting the k first, which is what you always want to do. As you're doing these, feel free to use a calculator. I don't want you to miss them because the calculations are wrong. I want you to miss them because you're not doing the steps. Once again, the answer is not important. The work done correctly is the important part. Let's do the next one. Oh, the last step was writing the answer. So copy the problem, show the inverse, write the answer on all these. We're going to draw our line here. Now, I notice with the x I have a negative 17. And since they're touching, that means it's multiplication. And we know the inverse of multiplication is division. A lot of people want to put plus 17, but we're not doing the inverse of the negative, we're doing the inverse of multiplication. So what we're really doing is dividing both sides. So go ahead and draw your division bar. And since this is a negative 17, we divide by negative 17. A lot of people want to make it positive. Once again, we're not doing the inverse of the negative like we do in sort of this problem. We're doing the inverse of multiplication, which is division, negative 17. Now that cancels out. We have x equals negative 204 divided by negative 17, which is positive 12. And we're done with that one. I would encourage you to check these as well. I'm going to show you what I mean in this one. I'm not going to do it here because we only have a certain amount of time for the video, and I want to use it to actually work the problems. But if I take the 12 and put it in, I should get negative 204. And then if you go and check it, negative 17 times 12, it is negative 204. So we know we did it right. So when we say check them, that means you plug in, see what you get. Let's keep going. I'm going to stop at this point. I'm going to stop writing CIA. I'm going to just do CIA. I'm going to copy. I already have the copy. I'm going to show the inverse and the answer. So notice it says divided by 4 on the M side. Well, the inverse of division is multiplication. So I'm going to put my two multiplication symbols. And since we divided by 4, now we're going to multiply by 4. M equals negative 13 times 4 is negative 52. And then we're done with that one. Let's keep going. So this one I noticed we have a negative 11 times x. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to draw two division bars. Since we multiply by negative 11, we're going to divide by negative 11. Just like that. And that cancels and makes 1x, which is what we wanted. Negative 143 divided by negative 11 equals positive 13. And once again, we always want to put that x first, so I'm going to flip it around and put 13 first. Let's draw our line here. We have 8 over 18. That means a divided by 18. The inverse of division is multiplication, so we're going to multiply both sides by 18. And we do like to keep it beside instead of underneath the fraction. It really belongs out here, as a whole number. So that reduces, that cancels. So we have a equals 18 times negative 5 is negative 90. And we like to always put our variable first, so I'm going to flip it and put a equals negative 90, just like that. So the last one on this series. Draw our line. This was a little different. This is n minus 8. So I got to do the inverse of subtraction. The inverse of subtraction is addition, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Negative 8 plus 8 makes 0, which leaves us just with this n. I'm going to copy that down. That's an n. Negative 10 plus 8 is negative 2. Once again, I would encourage you, try this because you should know these by now, but try it on your own. Get the answer, get negative 2, and then get a calculator, add it, and see if you're right. You want to know if you missed it immediately. You don't want to think you got it right, but you have the answer wrong. So that you know maybe you got 18, so you added them instead, and then you do it with a calculator and see, oh, I should have subtracted. Well, that tells you that you need to do it different next time. So you're trying it on your own with this kind of stuff. Then use that calculator to check it so that you know if you got it right or wrong. So, obviously you checked it now with me, but if you're doing this on your own, calculator is a great tool. If you're trying things, especially on your own first, and then checking it's going to give you some instant feedback that you can't get otherwise. You'll just have it wrong and you'll never know that you missed it. Or you may have it right and be unsure about whether or not it's right. So it's a great tool to use even with these small numbers just to check. And then with big numbers, it's a good tool to just kind of do it with because that makes it a lot faster. Well, let's go to the next thing. We got 28 and 30. And then we'll be done. Make that just a little bigger there. All right. So right here, we have a plus 11 equals 20. So it's plus. The inverse of addition is subtraction. So if I take away 11 from both sides, that makes that 0, which isolates this a. 20 minus 11 is 9. And if we check, we could say, well, if 9 is a is 9, 9 plus 11 does equal 20. And then the last one. Let's just keep using blue here. So once again, this is addition. Now, the 18's first, but it's still addition, and it's still a positive 18. And this is where it can get confusing if this is negative. We'll talk about that some. It's just not on this sheet. But since it's a positive, when we're adding, we're going to subtract 18. If they were touching, we'd have to divide, but since there's a plus sign separating them, we're going to do the opposite of that addition, minus 18. So we have m equals 8 minus 18, or 8 plus a negative 18, is a negative 10. This is a good example of a time when it would be good to try it and then check with a calculator, because several people are going to probably accidentally put positive 10 or something like that. So make sure you're checking these. So that's all of them. I don't expect that you probably understand this completely. I went fast. You hopefully rewound if you didn't understand something. But I'm expecting a lot of misconceptions with this right now, and that's pretty normal. We're going to keep practicing it, though. When you get to class, we're going to finish this sheet. We're going to do the other side with the fractions, and I encourage you to ask questions and continue, giving it your best, and you will get it, even on these with negatives and positives. And then when we get to 2 steps tomorrow night, you'll get those as well.